Guys, good morning. Just give me one moment. Let me connect this headphone. Yes. All right. So we have seen. All right. So we started with lookup relationship yesterday, and then we have created a lookup relationship between hiring manager and the positions as well. So if I wanted to cross verify, the best way to do this is like, you should go to schema builder for this. And on the schema builder, you have to bring those two objects. You have to project those two objects. So now we can see that we are having a lookup relationship, right, between the positions and the hiring manager. So that is the part what we have seen yesterday. And we also have discussed few things related to the lookup relationships and all. Now let me go with lookup dialog box configuration. Okay. So what is the need of lookup dialog box configuration? I'll show you. So let me do one thing over here. I'm just cloning a record of Manish Singh and I'm entering a few things over here. I'm selecting as Delhi, right? Now, if I go back to the hiring manager and go with all records, let me bring some more columns over here. So right now in this interface, what we see is only name. Let me bring contact number, email ID, and location as well, right? And I could even bring HR ID, that HR ID, I could bring it at the top. Make it visible for all of the users and then save it. Now see, as you can see that we are having, I didn't store what. Oh, how come this has been changed? Just give me a moment. Let me create this test data. I'm also editing this one. So giving the contact number like this and okay. So now if you go to the interface and you click on to all hiring managers, so what you can see over here, what is happening here? Just give me a moment. Every time it is getting. Yes. See, now we can see that we are having, two person in a group and both of them, the name actually is exactly same. And this might be possible. I mean, this is one of the possibility, but very common possibility. Like in a school, probably there in a class, there are two students with same name. And sometimes even the surnames could also be the same. But this happens in India. It's very common. So now I'm talking about one of the scenario where, there in the hiring managers, we are having two Manish Singh. But that doesn't mean that both of them are same person. Actually, both of them are what? They are two separate persons. One of them belongs to Kochi, the another one belongs to Delhi, right? Their name are exactly same. The names are exactly same. Now, this is one thing. All right, this is one thing. Now, if I go with, if I go with like positions, and for example, I'm creating a new position called senior account manager. All right. Number of the vacancies probably is like 5. The HR email ID is hr@test.com. The position status, it's a new position. The contact number is this. The location number is Mumbai. The minimum budget is 5 lakh, maximum is 10 lakh. Open date is today's date. Closing date is, for example, 30th of this month. I'm copying the same thing in skills required and position description as well. Passport and travel also required. Right. Now we are creating one position. And this position must be assigned to Manish. right? So as soon as you go to this hiring manager interface and you click onto this lookup icon, now you wanted this to be get assigned to whom? To the Manish Singh. You will see two options over here. So you immediately reported this to your manager. With the same name, I'm actually, there are two users with the same name. There are two Manish Singhs. So to whom I should assign this? Your manager reverted to you that you have to assign the one who belongs to Delhi. Manish Singh from Delhi. You have to assign them. Tell me, how would you would know ki out of these two Manish, who is that Manish? One way is like you have to open it and you have to open this record. And then, every time you have to see ki, haan, kaun sa hai. The another way is what? The another way is what? One by one, you just have to take, matlab, ek baar isko leke dekho ki ye kaun hai. Dusra aisa. But this is not the way, this is not the way. So why we are having this confusion over here? Because this is something called as a lookup dialog box, right? This is something called as a lookup dialog box. This interface is what? It's a lookup dialog box. This confusion is arising all because in the lookup dialog box, you are only looking, what is displaying right now is only name. There's only name over here. And that is why we are, we are actually we are not being able to identify ki Manish belongs to which. Agar let's consider, apart from name, there were few more columns, for example, location, or maybe email ID or something else would be displayed. So we were in a better position to identify ki Manish, there are two Manish over here, but the one who belongs to Delhi, the one who is having this email ID, the one who is having that contact number, the one who is having that HR ID, we have to assign that. We have to assign it to that particular Manish. So here you require to customize this, here you require to customize this lookup dialog box. Here we have to customize this lookup dialog box. And what is the need of this? Exactly what we are seeing right now. Because right now it is only displaying you the name. And due to that, for example, if there are two persons with the same name and the same surname, it is making a confusion over here that out of these two, which we have to select. Because we are not in a position to select exact selection. Why? Because what we are seeing is only name. If some more entities from this record, like the contact number, like the email ID, like the ID of this record, or something else would be displayed more, apart from the name. In additional to the name, if something more has been displayed, we would be in a better position to identify which among these two Manish would have to be get selected. But abhi nahi ho sakta na. That's the reason, you have to customize this. You have to bring some more columns to be get displayed over here along with this record, along with this name. So that is what we are learning, and that is why we are learning something called as a lookup dialog box configuration. You could bring some more columns on the lookup dialog box, right? So how to do that? How to do that? Let me show you. So we first of all would require to go to the parent object, hiring manager, right? Inside the hiring manager, I can go with view fields. And then in the view fields, we have to go to search layout, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, inside the search layout, you can see lookup dialogs, right? This. So what we have to do, let me revise it once again. So first of all, when you wanted to customize this lookup dialog box, you first of all would require to go to parent. Between hiring manager and position, hiring manager is parent. Now inside hiring manager, you have to expand force.com and then go to view fields. All right. In the view fields, you have to go to this section, search layout. Now, one way to do this is like, you can scroll it like this. You can scroll it. The another way is, there is an hyperlink at the top of the page. So you can go with like, search layout directly just by clicking into this. And here you have to see for lookup dialogs. So this is what the field is. And right now, as you can see, it is only displaying the hiring manager name. Right. So I'm going with this edit link for the lookup. Just in front of lookup dialogs, I'm going with edit links. Now, when I edit this, this similar kind of interface would appear. So I wanted to display the email ID, HR ID, location, and maybe the contact number as well. These all are, I think, and let me bring ID at top of the page. All right. The name should always be top. No problem. I'll bring it over here. And these are the entities. See, you can select, you can select out of this what you wanted to be get displayed. So apart from name, I have selected ID, contact number, HR, email ID, and location. Let me now save it. Right. So when you now go to, if you now go to the search layout, and if you see for this interface, it was previously displaying only name. Now it is having along with name all these fields as well. Let's test it. So once again, just repeat the same process. Go to the position object, create a new position. The position name was like, a senior account manager. Number of vacancies was 5. HR email IDs was hr@test.com. Now this position is a new position, and the contact number is this one. Location is Kochi. Minimum budget is 5 lakh. Maximum budget is 10 lakh. Opening date is today's date. And let's consider the 31st or 30th of this month would be the milestone date. Passport, travel. And let me now assign this to Manish. So now, as you can see, if we go to the Manish, we can see the IDs are different. Contact numbers are different. HR email ID. So we are having, previously it was not, we were only getting name over displayed over here. So we were, it's obvious to have that confusion. But now, as you can see, along with the name, even though the name seems to be same, we are having all these entities which are different. And, based on these all, we could differentiate ki yaar, kis Manish ko apan ne select karna hai. So when I now report this to my manager, I'm looking into two different Manish over here. Now he responded ki aap ek kaam karo, the one who belongs to Delhi, you have to select him. All right, the one who belongs to Delhi is this one, right? I have to select this Manish and now save this report. All right, so this is where, and this is why, you have to learn something called as lookup dialog box configuration. Right. So whenever we wanted to make it more readable, whenever we wanted it to make, more understandable, then just displaying the name, sometimes it is not okay. So you have to bring few more columns inside the lookup dialog box. So how to do that? That is what we just have learned. All right. The next is the lookup filter configurations. One more topic. So before going with this, let me try to make you understand about one thing, and that is agile methodology of software development. This could be one interview question. What is the software development methodology? What is the software development model? The strategy, what we used, what you have used in your project development. Sometimes this question might also be asked in interviews. See, being a software engineer, understand one thing. What is happening with this control? Being a software engineer, understand one thing. Like, see, there's always a strategy of development, right? With every profession, right? If probably a civil engineer is building something, then they, first of all, they would create like map, what is that, models, or something, something related to that, that would describe key, what is their, systematic action plan of the development. I mean, even, we could start, we could take some simple examples in our life as well. If you're planning for a vacation, if you're planning for a party, if you're planning for an event, that time also, we sit with the family, we discuss, and we make a blueprint of that. And we first of all would create a design that this is going to be the overall of a structure of this event. We are going to invite these many people, and this is going to be in the menu of the food and whatever kind of decoration, whatever. I mean, I just wanted to make you understand that this is a very common thing that, whenever we do something, we first of all would start with the proper plannings, and this should always be done. Now, in the same way, when you develop an application, you develop in software, software must also be created by following certain strategies. So if you go with like, if you Google this different, or maybe like, software development life cycle models, if you go with this, so you can see that there would be like, different models are available. There are so many different models. Like this one is waterfall model, and this is your agile methodology. This is something we call this as a sprint. This is scattered, right? So there are so many different, if I can Google this, types of software development models. If I can Google this, we could get that there are so many different models. There are different strategies what usually the organization would use. Now, in terms of Salesforce development, so there are waterfall and iterative, spiral, big bang. And there was, during my engineering, if I remember, there was one of the subject called software engineering. That time we had learned all this, right? But we never know that these are, these are some of good things, what we are learning, and which going to be, we are going to see the same in industry. So what we follow is like agile model. What we follow is something called as an agile model, agile method of software development. Now, let me describe you that. Let me describe you that first of all. And why we are learning, you're going to understand this. I think I do have diagram for this. Let me try to get it. You probably have a diagram. Yes. This is what an agile looks like to be. All right. See, when we talk about agile methodology of software development, right? When we talk about this agile methodology, so basically agile, the agile works. Basically, what is happening here? Just a second. Yeah. So basically agile works in sprint. Agile works in sprint, right? What is this sprint? So sprint is one cycle of development. See, what we do is like, everything always start with an planning. That is something we call this as a discovery phase. Actually, discovery is even before planning. When we had the first interaction with the client, where we collect the requirements, something called as requirement gathering, right? So that requirement gathering phase, when we had our initial meetings with our clients, the one who make us understand about the requirements and all that. So that phase we usually call this as a discovery phase, Now see, after that discovery has been over, and we have designed everything on a document, right? Now that document usually we call this SOW, scope of work. That document usually we call this as SOW. So scope of work. When the scope of work has been designed, so what we do is like, we identify what are the different kind of requirements we are having. And then finally, once everything has been approved, when SOW also have been approved by client and he's agreed, yes, this is something is going to be the plan of action, then we start creating something called as sprint. So for this, we would require to have somebody in a team, those who are capable to do, those who are capable to create the sprints and all that, right? So for this, there is a separate segment, and in software development, there are separate certifications for this as well, right? We call them as an Scrum Masters. Scrum Master is one. There are a few tools for this. What basically these Scrum Master would do, and we submit our statistical data to them, and they would design this whole structure, the sprint, their durations and everything, and what would be the probable date for the first release, second release, third release, like this. So everything, inside an industry, everything is very properly structured. Everything inside an real time is properly structured. So what you have to understand one thing, like, we never do the development without any plan. So what we do is like, we do the proper plannings, we make the documentations, we design something called as, an sprints. And once everything has been set up, then we start the development, right? And we always track the development. We try to reduce the deviations as far as possible. So when you would going to work in a real-time industry, then you would yourself would feel that everything what is going on inside industry is highly disciplined, is highly planned, right? So we always have a proper path to follow, right? And we try to not to deviate from that path, right? This is what we do. Now let's come to this part. Okay, let me give you a small introduction, because I think that could connect with the example what we are learning. A lookup filter. See, how this agile would works actually, how the agile would work. So basically is what happened. Just can you just give me 1 second? Yes, all right. So what really happens is like, you first gather the requirements and everything, and then we start uh, the first sprint of development. What does this keyword sprint means? It's a cycle of development, right? So we plan what are the things that, we plan for what are the things that would be covered inside the first sprint. So once that plan has been ready, for every stage, and for every stage of this, we involve client with us, that this is the planning of the first sprint. These are the components, that we are going to cover in the first part of development. Then once he get approved, once we get approval from him, all right, I agree with this, you can go further. And then this everything has been documented properly. Then we start designing, or sometimes we directly start development, right? That's all. So if someone, I would not say that every stage would require to follow. Sometimes we even jump to some other stages as well. So that's perfect. All right. So either we can design something or we can directly do the development. Now, once we do the development, we after the development has been covered, we do it testing. Now, usually developer at themselves, at their own premise, usually developer would also test the code. We call this as a unit testing. Then we have a separate group of persons, those who perform the testing. There are so many different types of testings as well, functional, rigorous, and there are so many different type, white box, black box. There are so many different type of testings as well, right? After that, once the testing has been done, we either perform the deployment or rather we keep it onto the sandbox artist. And then we ask our client that this is something, we are ready with one version, first version of this, the first release of the product. Now we'll ask him to perform the review. This is something called as CR, client review. Now, if he approves something, we'll go with the next sprint. Otherwise, we once again revise it. So this is how, this is how the development usually goes. And this is what does an agile methodology means to be. So go and Google this agile methodology, try to have certain documents. I'll see if I am having something for this. I'm going to post it to your group. So just try to learn few more things related to agile. So one thing which is clear by this discussion is like, you always involve, whatever the work you do, you always involve client into this. And even though, after the first release of development has been covered, you will submit this to client and you'll ask something for CR. You'll ask something for what? CR. To take a review, client review. So after this, after this, when the client feel happy with all of the development, we could start the next phase of development. Otherwise, it would be like, you have to make the changes and you would be there into the first sprint itself. So this is how the development usually goes in industry, right? So that was a separate thing. Now let's come to what we are going to learn and why I have related this. All right. So what we did over here is like, you were having different hiring managers. You were having different hiring managers, right? And these are their locations, right? These are their locations. Let me edit something over here quickly. These are their locations. Now, what we initially consider is like, Manish Singh, and in the name, in the location, it was like Kochi. So what we initially considered is Manish belongs to Kochi. Manish is living in Kochi, and Sumit is living in Nasik. Akshay Dave is living in Nagpur. Ujjwal is living in Pune. Nilesh in Hyderabad. Swati in Bangalore. Manish again is living in Delhi. So with our initial understanding, what we consider, yeah, these are the hiring managers and they belong to this city. They are having their homes inside Kochi, Nashik, and they are living over there. They are working from there. So with that assumption, we started. Now what is happening is like, when we submit this, let's consider this is the outcome of first sprint. Let's consider that we are ready with the first phase of development. And then we submitted this product to our client and we asked him to perform and review on this. So client identified one thing over here, and which we were, which we are being not aware anyways, which we are being not aware of this. What is that? What is that? For example, if there's a position, if there is a position, for example, manual tester. Okay, if there's a position called manual tester, it is being generating, and this is for this has been generating for Delhi location. or maybe it is getting generated for the Nagpur location. When you go to the hiring manager, you can see the names of all hiring managers over here. You can assign this position to Akshay, to the Manish, Nilesh, Sumit, Swati, Ujjwal. You can assign this to anybody. But this is something, client report us, this is a deviation. This is a deviation. How, we were probably, because of lack of communication or whatever, what the initial understanding, what we were having, actually, it is being deviated. Now, client reported same thing to us, that the business doesn't goes like this in his end. Whereas, it actually goes like, if you select, if the position has been generated for Nagpur location, these hiring managers, they are actually not living in these cities. Rather, they are responsible to handle the position generated for this. Understand, Akshay Dave is actually not living in Nagpur. Akshay Dave is a person who is responsible to handle all those positions that are generated for Nagpur. Manish Singh, with this HR ID and this contact number, is not living in Kochi, is not living in Kerala. Rather, whatever position would be generated for Kochi, if a position is generating for Kochi, this Manish Singh would be responsible to handle all those positions generated for Kochi. Nilesh would handle all those positions generated for Hyderabad. He's not living in Hyderabad, but he's the person who is responsible to handle all those positions where the location is Hyderabad, which is generated for Hyderabad. So this we, with our initial understanding, we don't get it. Now client has reported one thing. If you select as a position location, if you are selecting Nagpur, you must not see all of the hiring manager. Rather, you should see only those hiring manager which are responsible for this city. Like, let me do one more thing. For example, I'll just create a new hiring manager once again. I'll create a new hiring manager. For example, we are having Sunil Sharma. And Sunil Sharma also belongs to Nagpur. His contact number is something like this, right? And then Sunil. @test.com. Right. Now we are having one position for Nagpur, right? And when we go to say this, so now because there are two persons who are responsible. One is Akshay Dave. The second is like Sunil. These are the two persons, those who are responsible for any position which is getting generated for Nagpur. So only these two names should appear. Only these two names. So I could select one out of them. Either I could select Akshay Dave and Sunil, because these are the two hiring managers who are responsible for any position which is getting generated for the Nagpur. And right now, what this interface is displaying is it is displaying everybody's name. So what I wanted to say is like, I cannot select Sumit Kumar, Manilesh. No, their responsibility is some other city. If a position is generating for Nagpur, if a position is generating, for example, Bangalore, do we have somebody from Bangalore? I don't think so. Yeah, we have. So if the position is getting generated for Bangalore, we should only see the name of those hiring manager who belongs to Bangalore. I mean, the responsibility belongs to Bangalore. Their location belongs to Bangalore. I mean, these are the persons. Swati Kumar is the person, is the hiring manager who is responsible to handle the position for Bangalore. इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि स्वाति कहाँ रहते हैं. That's not with our initial understanding what we consider कि ये वो लोग हैं जो इन शहरों में रहते हैं. But actually it was not. They work for this city. So this is what we called as deviation. So here you have to implement a logic in such a way that position का जो location है, that should be same as the hiring manager location. If you select position name as Bangalore, तो hiring manager यहाँ पे वही display होने चाहिए जिसका location हो Bangalore. If you select inside the position, if you select Delhi, तो यहाँ केवल इस lookup dialog box में ना आपको वही hiring managers display होने चाहिए जिसका location क्या है, Delhi. So in short, the position's location should be matched should match to hiring manager locations. This is going to be your filter formula. Okay, inside this lookup dialog box, I'm not going to display everything. Not every hiring manager. Rather, we would going to display only those records of hiring manager where the locations are same. The position location, positions location, POS dot location, position location should equals to what? HR location. HR location. The location should be get same. So all of those records, which signifies this formula. The position location matches with the hiring manager. They are only going to be get displayed over here. That is what is going to be the formula which I'm designing, right? And this is something called as filter. I'm putting a filter over here. Lookup filter configuration. Lookup filter configuration. All right, let's do that. So how to do this? You have to go for position object, expand force.com, view fields. And go inside the custom fields and relationship section. Identify what is the relationship field name. So inside position, the relationship field name is HR manager. This one. Just edit this. Right. So when we click onto this edit button, this interface, there, we are having something called as a lookup filter. Right. You'll have to click onto this show filter settings. Now here, see, you don't have to, code anything. Don't worry. This is what configuration. Configuration mein coding nahi karni padti. Everything is available onto my mouse click. You just have to understand कि अपने को कहाँ पे जाना है. ठीक है? So you first of all have to go with like inside the position object. Go with force.com. Go on view fields. Now onto this interface, into the custom fields and relationship section. Identify कि हमने कौन सी field create की. तो हमारी relationship की field कौन सी है? ये वाली. By this I'm selecting hiring manager. इसी फील्ड से मैं हायरिंग मैनेजर सिलेक्ट कर रहा हूं, राइट? सो व्हाट इज दैट फील्ड नेम? एचआर मैनेजर. आइडेंटिफाई वेयर एचआर मैनेजर इज रिटन. दिस वन. दिस फील्ड इज व्हाट? इट्स माय रिलेशनशिप फील्ड. इसको एडिट करना है. सो आई हैव टू एडिट दिस वन. सो आई विल गो विद हायरिंग मैनेजर एंड देन आई विल क्लिक ऑन टू दिस एडिट बटन. नाउ ऑन टू दिस इंटरफेस वेयर यू हैव टू गो टू लुकअप फिल्टर सेक्शन. Just expand it or click onto this. This is one and same thing. You can expand by this like this, and you can simply like this as well. वो आपके ऊपर है. Now what we want here, you have to write down the formula. तो क्या फॉर्मूला है? अभी मैंने आपको बताया. हायरिंग मैनेजर और पोजीशन दोनों के लोकेशन जो है वो सेम होने चाहिए. हायरिंग मैनेजर और पोजीशन दोनों के जो लोकेशन है, that should be same. That should be same, right? So I wanted to display those position, those hiring manager records I could select. You can start vice versa as well. I could select those hiring managers where the location name, hiring manager location. See, I'm just selecting it from drop down, nothing else. Should what? Equals to, not equals to. I'm going with equals. Hiring manager location should equals to not a value, a field. Position, I'm selecting now position, positions location. Hiring manager location should equals to position location. Hiring manager location should equals to position location. So this is the formula which I have applied. This is the formula which I have applied. So hiring manager, though display in the lookup dialog box, display me only those hiring managers, not everybody. Display me only those hiring manager whose location is exactly same to the position location, right? And let me save this. After committing those changes, let's save it. Now we are having one filter. See this icon, this funnel icon, it would indicate कि यहाँ पे एक filter लगाया हुआ है. Now, if you go to the interface, let me refresh it first of all, because to commit those changes, every time you have to refresh. You see, if without selecting location, if you try to select anybody, now it's not displaying anything over here. See, it's not displaying anything over here, right? So there is a dependency, there's a you put your icon, you put your cursor over here onto this small icon. It would indicate depends on location name. So if you without selecting location, if you try to get any hiring manager name, it would not display you. There's a dependency what you are selecting over here. There's a dependency on what you are selecting over here, right? And so if I select now Bangalore, after selecting location, now if I go and select this, you would be going to see only that name of hiring manager who belongs to Bangalore. The location is same as position. The location is same as position. See, if you select, for example, Nagpur, you would be going to see only those hiring manager who belongs to Nagpur. See, and this is what the deviation was. This is what the deviation was. Charger connect नहीं किया क्या मैं? Charger तो connect होगा. All right. So this is what the deviation was. Now this matches to the requirement. Now this matches to the, you click Delhi and then you select. So you will be going to see only that hiring manager who belongs to Delhi, right? This is what. All right. So here is like, we have how to apply the lookup filter and what could be the requirement for this, right? That's all for today. Tomorrow morning, I would be starting with the next type of relationship, and that is master detail relationship. All right. I'm giving you this command, and now you can unmute yourself if you wanted to ask me any question. Yes.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, please explain edit layout.
Edit layout?
Yes, sir.
Edit layout. This one. This one. Bhagyashri, this one, you wanted me to explain
Yes,
this?
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Tell me what you wanted me to explain into this.
Post.com, then edit.com. Expand post.com.
Yes.
Edit layout.
Where is edit layout? This one. That is for editing your layout. The page layout customization, how you are going to do this, right? If I wanted to bring certain sections over here, if I wanted to introduce, if I wanted to remove certain section, if you wanted to make a field mandatory from page layout, this is the way to do this.
Yes, sir, but मेरे से हो ही नहीं रहा है सर वो. जैसे कि मुझे स्किल सेट में अगर नेम वगैरह डालना है तो वो कैसे करते हैं?
स्किल सेट कहाँ पे? यहाँ पे
मतलब सर
आप मुझे क्वेश्चन अच्छे से समझाइए. मतलब आप क्वेश्चन समझाएंगे नहीं तो फिर मैं आंसर नहीं दे पाऊंगा आपको. एग्जैक्टली क्या चाहते हैं आप वो बताइए मुझे.
जैसे सेक्शंस पढ़ते हैं ना, जैसे इंफॉर्मेशन का सेक्शन पढ़ा, बजट एंड मिलस्टोन का, वो नहीं पढ़ा है मुझसे.
हाँ, तो what you have to do is like expand the force.com, go with edit layout, and here you have section this, right? ये section this, just you have to drag and drop it over here, nothing else.
Yes sir, ये भी किया, लेकिन वो जैसे कि मुझे HR मैनेजर नीचे लाना है तो वो कैसे करें?
कौन सा HR मैनेजर?
जैसे
ये वाला
HR ईमेल आईडी है,
ये
वो बजट्स में कैसे लाएंगे?
ये ड्रैग एंड ड्रॉप, दैट्स इट.
वैसे किया था सर, लेकिन हो ही नहीं रहा था.
नहीं, ऐसा जादू तो नहीं होता. मैं कोई जादूगर तो हूँ नहीं. जो मेरे यहाँ इंटरफेस में होता है वो आपके इंटरफेस में भी होता है.
हाँ होगा, लेकिन हो ही नहीं रहा था.
नहीं, you were doing something wrong, that is why this is not happening. Otherwise ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है यार. F. You probably is doing something wrong, that is why it is not happening. Otherwise ऐसा नहीं हो सकता.
ओके सर. सर स्कीमा बिल्डर का बताओ ना थोड़ा. क्या
जानना चाहते हैं थोड़ा? मतलब देखो, आप मुझसे प्लीज बी स्पेसिफिक योर क्वेश्चन. हाँ, आप मुझे ना स्पेसिफिकली क्वेश्चन पूछो थोड़ा. मतलब मैं क्या समझाऊं आपको, ये बताओ. आई हैव ओपन स्कीमा बिल्डर, नाउ आस्क मी व्हाट यू वांटेड टू नो.
सर ये सब क्लियर करो अभी. क्लियर. जैसे हम स्टैंडर्ड ऑब्जेक्ट बनाए थे, वैसे कैसे करते हैं स्कीमा बिल्डर में?
ऑब्जेक्ट कैसे क्रिएट करते हैं, दिस इज योर क्वेश्चन?
हाँ.
Go to elements tab, drag and drop object from here, give the name and fill all this. You are going to object is going to be get created.
Okay sir.
You have to go with elements tab. When you come to this interface, initially you would be onto object, but you have to go to elements tab first of all. Here you would find this object and the fields inside this. Yes. Anything else?
No sir, thank you sir.
Yes, any questions? All right then.